Hi, sir.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you? All good?
Fine, sir. Sorry for delay,
Amazing.
sir.
No problem at all.
So, sir, would you be taking the doubt side by side, or we can have this session at last?
I'll be taking doubts side by side as we are moving live. I'll be looking
Okay.
at the chat on my device and then, moving forward accordingly. Just add me as a
o-
moderator there so that I can send the URLs for the session, all the GitHub repositories, etc.
Okay. Harsh, can we do that? Harsh, you are showing wrong banner, I guess.
Yes,
Harsh, banner is wrong.
Yep, I am Ali. Okay, that is fine.
Sir, we are live, so let's start. Yeah. Hello everyone. In today's era, technology is influencing the lives of millions and improving the standards of exponentially. From the healthcare sector to finances, machine learning and deep learning is doing wonders. YouTube and Spotify recommendation system, demand forecasting, fraud detection, and list goes on. And much more are some examples where machine learning algorithms are playing significant role. Hope you all are curious now to explore this field and to dive into this. So, yeah, in today's workshop, we would be diving into the topic of deploying the machine learning model using Heroku. For today's workshop, we are having Ali Mustufa Sheikh sir as our speaker. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Sir is a software innovator at Intel, TEDx speaker, and cloud and ML trainer. Today, we will be getting his guidance on the main aspect of machine learning, that is deploying our model over Heroku. Up to you, sir.
Thank you so much. I've shared my screen. Just add my screen to the. Yep. Thank you so much. Okay, so yeah, welcome everyone. I hope you're doing good. Feel free to ask your questions right away as we're moving forward, and then later on, also you can ask the question. It is not like you have to ask it right now only, but yeah, I'm more than happy to answer all your questions in between so that it is cleared, and then we all are on the same page. Today we are going to talk about Heroku and how to deploy the model using Heroku. A very simple terminology, a very simple model with a very simple deployment. This is a step one. Moving forward, you can definitely do amazing things with Heroku, like I do. But yeah, remember there are some limitations to the free account, but you can always apply to GitHub Student Expert Program and get more free credits from Heroku. About myself, I am Ali Mustafa and I build human networks, not the computer ones because they are really messy. And I'm a Google for Education certified trainer and I love to train people. I've been training for more than 4 years now and being the part of Intel Software Innovator Program. And I've also started my own channel for teaching kids free coding, which is Free Code K12. I really talk a lot, and you will find that literally everywhere. I talk a lot, and I also love to click selfies. But yeah, we are in a virtual environment, so we might not be able to click a selfie right now. But yeah, later on, for sure. Okay. I started my journey in diploma, and after that, I've been associated with a lot of communities in India and helped them grow, and also started the very first Tensorflow user group in India. I really love talking to students and giving and delivering technical sessions across India and the world. So let's get started with today's session because that is more important in comparison to my introduction. Today we are going to use a very simple model and then convert that into a file, write some Flask code, deploy that to Heroku, and then see that and test it as well. We are going to make an API, meaning that we will deploy our model as an API so that you can use it literally anywhere you want. It can be on your Android device. It can be, basically anywhere where you want. Okay, and we will also talk about it later on, that how we can secure it and so on and so forth. As time permits, I'll cover advanced concepts as well, but the session is designed in such a way that it is beginner friendly. So the very first thing which we need is a model. Without model, we will not be able to deploy anything to Heroku. So for this example, we are using Iris, which is an amazing dataset. A toy dataset which is used for supervised, unsupervised machine learning problems, and is the very first dataset which you will be working in if you are going with machine learning. So what I want you to do is to work with me, make the model, and then save the model file so that we can use it to code, in our Heroku model. Sorry, in our Heroku, application. So let's get started and let's start the code. The URL for this code is given here. I'll share this URL right into the chat so that you folks are also able to see that, right? So just give me a moment and put that in the chat. I guess it is not available as a URL. Can you please add me as a mod there so that I can share this URL, or I'll share it with you and then you can share it with them, maybe. Okay, so this is the URL where
You
you
would be
have to go
showing
to.
that.
Yeah, okay. And first we need to train the model. Okay, so you can create a fork copy of this because we will be editing this and also republishing it, so it is better to create a fork copy. And if you like my work, you can give me a star. It's like nursery people, right? Where we get excited about stars. So yeah, GitHub stars are really good. So create a fork copy so that you can use it, and we need to edit a lot of code, so it is better that you create your fork copy. Before we go ahead and we kind of do everything, first we need the model file, which is very, very important. And for that, you need to go to the very fourth file, okay, which is get model file.ipny. We all will be training our own model file. That is, I'm not shipping it with the code because I wanted it to be more interactive about how to train the model and then get the file and then move forward. So click on that and it will open in a new tab. It has complete code, so you will be able to see it like that. Now we need to open this in Collab because that is what our major intention is, because we need to run this and download the file. So go to collab.google, collab.research.google.com, and then go to GitHub, authorize yourself. It will take a minute to authorize. Copy this URL, paste it here, and you should be able to see this URL. If you don't want to do all that hard work, go to this URL directly, and you should be able to do the same thing. Nothing changes there, but yeah, it is one and the same thing. Okay. Now what I want you to do is not create a copy of this. That is a very, very simple code. Go to runtime and click on run all, and it will run from top to bottom. Okay. I will explain you what is happening there, so don't need to worry. But yeah, click on run all because that will help us to kind of run all the code from top to bottom. Okay. If you are doing this with me, see, I am a very fast speaker. Okay, so I just go on and keep speaking. Okay, so if you are doing it with me, make sure you tell me that you're doing it with me, right, in the chat, so that I'm waiting for you folks before I move to the next step. Else I'll be the only one who will be doing it. And it is like my mom is very proud of it, and I can do it. Okay, but I want you to be proud of yourself, and at the end of the session be able to kind of do this very easily and very effectively. Okay. Harsh, you have actually shared the URL right into my browser. Please share it in the live chat, maybe. uh, I guess you have shared it on the very wrong side. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So let's start and let's run this. Run the very first cell, which will install Flask. Flask is a miniature framework which we are using. There is a lot of multiple frameworks available. Like there is Django. There's a lot of them, but we'll be using Flask because it is miniature in nature. It is not that heavy. We can use it for production as well. Okay, and it is really, really awesome. The second thing which we are using is Flask Ngrok, which will help us with a temporary URL to test our code before we deploy that to a permanent URL using Heroku. Okay, So that's how we are actually verifying our deployment before we actually go and deploy that. So let's get started. For machine learning, I'm not going to explain the whole code because that is very simple model, and at the same time, this session is not much related to machine learning, but deploying your machine learning code, which is the major part of this session. So it is totally fine. If you have any doubts here, you can ask me. But I would say this is a very simple code. Okay. So we are using NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib for plotting and seeing some of the data points there, and we are using scikit-learn to make our model and then put it across. We are using SVM here, a very amazing model and the best in the scikit-learn library, and we are using Irish dataset, which is again a toy dataset. So we should get around 98 to 99% accuracy because the model is perfect. The dataset is also quite perfect. So let's run the cell, import all the libraries. Now, for people who don't know what iris is, it is a type of flower. There are three different species of this flower. One is Iris setosa, versicolor, and virginica. They three have different sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width. So these are the four feature columns which are available. So as you can see, I have added the image there, which is sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width. These are the four data points which the scientist had collected, and he had showed that into an CSV file, which you can use to kind of import it and then train your machine learning model on. If you want to see the feature names, you can call the feature names function, and you will be able to see four feature names, which is sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width. It is taking four input as features. We are adding X into a data set and then Y as the target, and then splitting this data set into four different variables, which is X train, X test, and Y train, Y test, where we are dividing this complete data set into 70-30 pattern. That's why here you can see the test size is 0.3. If I do it as 0.2, it will divide it into 80-20 or 0.25, 75-25 percentages. So as of now, let's keep it as 0.3. Let's run this. It will segregate the data, and if you want to see if the segregation has happened, you can always use shape function. So you can use x_train dot shape and then run it, and you will get the shape, which is 105 rows and 4 columns. You can do the same thing with y_train, and in the output you should be able to see around the remaining rows and around 1 column. Okay, so let's run this, and you can see which it is 105 rows and 1 column. In X test you will be able to see the remaining column. So let's run this, and here you can see 45 remaining rows which are there in the Y test thing. So data is segregated. Now let's define the model. Now, because we are deploying this at a production level, and we want this to be very efficient, we are going to use grid search CV to help us select the best model option and the best hyperparameters which are available for that specific model given our data set. And that's why we are going to use grid search CV and do that. It will take around 10 minutes to run this because it will actually evaluate all these different options like kernel, which is linear, poly, and RBF, then degree 3, 7, 10, 15, 50, and gamma, which is scale or auto, and then C, which is 0.1, 1, 10, and 100. So these are multiple parameters, multiple hyperparameters. We are not going to work with all of them, obviously. So the model will select the best parameter, put it across the GS variable, and then you can fit the model based on your data set and then predict and see the outcome. Now here you can see we haven't printed anything, so it is stored in a variable. Let's check the mean square error and the accuracy so that we can see how good our model is. And as you can see, we have an accuracy of 97% and mean square error of 0.02, which is really awesome. Now you might see some different numbers here. It is totally fine because machine to machine it varies and algorithm to algorithm it varies. So it is totally fine if you see a different number there. Now that we have a model, we need to save that model so that we can use it later on. And that's where we are using Pickle to dump that into model.pkl file. Here, if you go to files, you should be able to see this model.pkl file. This is very important file because this is what we will need while we are working with our Heroku code. So as of now, let it be here and let us first check if this file is working. If it is working, then we will download that file and use it in our Heroku model. Here we are defining the Flask amp, and don't worry, I will explain the whole code line by line about the Flask and how it works. But here what we are doing is we are defining the Flask amp, and we are loading the model which we saved earlier and then running that with ngrok. What is ngrok? Ngrok is a temporary service which exposes our machine to the internet. So what will happen is once you run this command, it will expose your local host to a URL, which is a temporary URL available for 12 hours. Okay. So let's run that. Let's run the first line, and then let's try to do the prediction from the loaded model. As you can see, model is nothing but the one which we have loaded here. See the prediction, and you can see the outcome is 0. 0 meaning, so there are three classes, 0, 1 and 2. Okay, and they are again with the same confidence as I told you, right? So here if you go 0, Setosa, Versicolor and Virginica. Okay, and that is how it is, 0, 1 and 2, three different classes. So 0 means Setosa, 1 means Virginica, and 2 means Versicolor. Okay, now that you have this, what you need to do is you need to define routes so that we can go to that route and then see what is happening there or do some action there. For this example, we're defining two routes. One is the home page, which is only /, and another one is a predict function, which is going to help us with /predict. Please note down that for the home page, we are using the method as only get, and for predict function, we are using method only as post. What is a method? A method enables you to kind of send and receive data, and do different operations onto a web API. So what we are ideally developing here is a web API, which will help us to kind of query the model, get the outcome, and send the response back to whoever is requesting for that specific data. So once we are here, we are defining a function which is predict, and in that function you can see that we have 4 different elements because that is what we will need to predict on a given problem statement. So for our problem statement, it is 4 different data points: sample length, sample width, petal length, and petal width. Once we have this in this 4 params, we are going to use that and store that in a variable called as predict on, and then pass it into model.predict function, which will help us to predict that. Once the prediction is done, we can print the prediction in the console and also return the outcome in JSON file. And here you can see this is how it will return the response as. At the same time, remember, this is how the input is going to look like. Okay, so this is commented code, meaning that you cannot it will not run, but this is for your reference that this is how the body looks like. So run this. Once you run that, it will run on the local host, but you cannot access the local host on Collab. So it will give you a link. If you click on the link, it will say server is up and running. It should show you that outcome, which is server up and running. Oops. My file is visible. Is it? Yeah, it is visible. So here you can see server is up and running. Okay. So there you can see, the server is up and running. Now we need to test if it is working or not. And for that, we cannot send a post request from a browser. That is not quite possible. Okay. So we will need a client from which we can send the request. And in our case, we are going to use Postman. Okay. Postman is an amazing tool which helps us to test, and understand what we are doing with the APIs. So this is postman.com, where you can sign up and start testing your APIs. It is a very simple and amazing tool. I have posted the URL there where you can use it. Remember, if you're using the web version of Postman, which is also really awesome, you will have to like sign up for it, and you will need to have a URL which is basically uh, hosted onto a remote server. You cannot work with a local server with the web version unless you install the agent. So what I recommend is, I recommend you folks to download Postman. Okay, so if you go there, you can see all the details, what is what and how important this is, and you can click here on downloading the app, which will oops. So you can directly go to postman.com/downloads, and you can download the app so that you can try it. Now you can try the web version as well, which is also pretty awesome. But yeah, it's just that the web version will not support localhost URLs, and we will be also running this app on a local host. So it is recommended that you download the Postman app. Let's try the web version, and we will do everything in the web version. I already have an account, so I will click on sign in instant, and I'll use my personal account, which is I Ali Mustafa, and I'll use my password. Hope so the password is right. Yes. So yeah, password was right. That is, really, I'll save this password for later on. That is good one. Okay. So once you are in the Postman, you will be able to see your workspace. Okay, and this is how it will look like. Now I don't want to explain you what is Postman, how it works, or anything like that. But we just need to do a very simple thing. So in Postman, go to this plus icon here. So make sure you are in your workspace. So in workspaces, select my workspace, and here click on this plus button. It will open a new tab, and here you will see an option to paste the URL. So go here, copy this URL, and paste it here. Hit enter, and you should see that it is giving you the same response which says server is up and running. And you can say status code is 200, meaning everything looks good. But we need to check if it is predicting or not. And that is where you can see that the method for predicting is /predict. So what we are going to do is we are going to use this, Control C, go here, paste that. Okay, and make sure you select the method as post, because we are sending a post request. Now once you do that, make sure you select the body properly, because we will need a body. We are sending a post request, and in that case we will use raw and JSON, because we are using a JSON body. If you're wondering what is JSON, it is nothing but JavaScript object notation. Once you are at this moment, you need to go back and select this body, which we saw earlier in the commented phase. Come back here, paste it there. All looks good. Hit send, and it should give you results as 2, which means it belongs to class number 2. If you're able to see this outcome, meaning that it is working, let's verify using the log. So here, if I go and check the logs, you can see that it fulfilled a post request on /predict, and the status was 200, meaning that everything went good. And you can see, because we are printing the prediction, it printed 2 here as well. Looks good. Let's try to change this and see if it affects our outcomes. We'll use 4.5, and we will hit a send button. You can see the result changed to class number 1. One more thing I want you to do is remove JSON and click on test and hit send. And you can see that it is still working properly, because we have not enforced JSON there. So yeah, but if you are working like full time, like you want to make it production level, then you should definitely follow and check it on the server side as well. So you can see everything looks fine, everything is working. Okay, cool, meaning that we can download our model and everything will look good. So let's stop this, stop the model which is running. You can either click on runtime and interrupt runtime, or you can just click on this and it will stop running. Now you need this file, so download this file, model.pkl file. Click on these three dots and click on download, the very first line, and it will download that file and it will be visible to you here in the bottom. I hope every one of you have the model file. If you have, give me a thumbs up so that I can move forward accordingly. I'm waiting for your response, folks, because half part is done here and we are pending with the half part, which is basically making writing the code and making the Heroku model. So yeah, don't worry about all this code because we are going to write that line by line. Okay, so don't worry about it. But if you are here with the model, give me a thumbs up. I see 2 thumbs ups. Okay, that's good. Cool. So we have downloaded the model as well, and let's go back here. So here you can see we have done this and we have written that. Now the second part is to download the sample. What is the sample? Sample is nothing there but the code sample which we are going to use as a template to kind of work with Heroku. Okay, and these are the four very important files. Okay, four very important files: proc file, app.py file, requirements.txt file, and vsgi.py file. These four files are very important files in Heroku environment. Okay, and we are going to use we are going to clone them and we are going to use them for writing the code. Okay, so let's go and let's do that. So let's go in and follow along. So come here, come back to ML deploy, right? And as I told you to make a fork copy, please create a fork copy so that you can use it and you can make the changes and kind of push it as well. If you don't want to fork it, you can download this as well. So what you can do is you can click here on download, and then you can click here on download zip. So click on this button and it will download this as a zip file. Okay, download zip. It's just 3 to 4 kb, so it will not take an hour or something, but yeah, it is very easy to do that. Okay, now I need to share my complete screen so that I can kind of show you the complete thing. So let me share my screen completely so that you are able to see the code which I am writing as well. Okay, so once you have downloaded the code, make sure you open that code, you extract that file. Okay, and you open that code in VS Code. If you have a VS Code, yeah, I know. I am just sharing my screen. Just wait a moment. If you don't have a VS Code, then that will be a problem. Not a problem, I would say, but yeah, even if you have uh, like any other text editor, that would also be fine. Okay. So once you are done, I'm making a folder which I will say Iris demo. Okay, and in that I have extracted all the file. I'll open that using Microsoft Visual Studio Code and let me share my screen. Okay, so what I have done right now is I have shared I have opened the demo file, which all the 4 files which are there on the left, right. Sorry, are you able to see my screen? Is it okay? Yeah. Which is on the left hand side here, and there are 4 files: app.py file, which is empty, there is nothing written there; proc file, which has 1 line of code, which is web python wsgi.py file; requirements.txt, which is also empty; wsgi file, which has some code, okay, which you don't want to talk about right now. Okay, so these are 3 files which are very very important, and requirements is also important, but basically app.py file is the most important file which you will be able to see it right now. Now what we are doing right now is we are going to write the complete code for deploying our model here, so that everyone like it is a very simple Flask app, so it is not something which is way different than what we are doing right now. But yeah, it will help you to understand how to write it, how to write the code, and it will also be visible, so that you can also write it with me. I will also share the completed app later on, so don't worry about that if you are not able to follow along, and it is totally fine if you are not able to follow along. Okay, so yeah, first we need to import all the files. So first let's write the requirement .txt, because that is what the main file is going to be. So first we need Flask. Apart from Flask, we need, I hope it is visible in the zoom fashion, or else I should zoom. NumPy is another one, because that is also important. Then we need Flask course. It is very important because it gives us the course errors. Okay, so it is important that we add it there. And then we need to add Unicorn. This is very very important because we are deploying a production level server using VSGI, so we need Unicorn there, else it will not work on Heroku. Once you have added these 4 dependencies, you also need to add scikit-learn, because this is where the model is situated. Now, one more thing you might have observed is in the collab, I have added one more line, just below, which was basically the line where the version number of scikit-learn was visible. Okay, it is very very important to use the same version of scikit-learn, else it will throw error, and hence we will write it there. So sklearn, and we need to use the same version. So what is the version number there? The version number, oops, sorry, scikit learn, and the version number which we are going to use here is going to be the same from the collab. So just copy it from the collab. You should be able to see that the code is written on the very last line. So I have copied it right now and it is visible here. So this is the version number. If you're not able to copy it, you can write it with me and it should be visible to you right there. Okay, make sure the version number is this. If it is different than this, then the model will not run at all. Make sure the version number is same. Cool. So you need to make sure you have imported Flask, you have installed Flask, you have installed NumPy, Flask course, Unicorn, and scikit-learn with the exact version which we need, for which we have used for training our model. Okay, save this, Control S, save this. Okay, once you have saved this, we need to go back to app.py file, start writing the code line by line. Okay, now we can copy this code from the collab, but as I promised you, we are going to write everything line by line, so I will write it for you. So from Flask, remember we are not going to write ngrok here because we are deploying this to our Heroku server. So yeah, remember we are not going to do that. Import Flask. So we are importing Flask, we are importing JSONify, and we are importing make response This is all for our API. Okay, to make sure. Mohit Rai has a question that any tips for machine learning and stuff. If you want to learn machine learning, I have a really good course which is called as ML in 90 minutes, which is really awesome. You can check it out, and it is a good one. Will give you a head start once you're starting with machine learning. It is also good. It is 1.5 hours, so it's around 90 minutes, and will give you complete idea about machine learning beginner and what you need to get started with it. Tip is that you make projects and you deploy them. You don't keep them on your notebooks. Okay, that is a very important tip. Another thing is we need to load our model, so we need Pickle because that is what is required to load our model. Apart from that, we need to import a NumPy because we need to do pre-processing. So import NumPy NumPy as NP. Okay, and apart from importing NumPy, we don't need to import anything else. Only these three things. Okay, Flask, JSONify, make response request, and Pickle, and then NumPy because that is very important. Okay, cool. Now we need to write the code. We need to first load our model. So model equal to. We need to make sure we load the model, and we are going to use Pickle again to load the model. So Pickle dot load, and here we need to add the name of the file which is there. So here open, and then we need to name the file which is model.pkl file. Now remember, we don't have the model file yet. Okay, so make sure you add the model file before you move forward, right? And the file which we have downloaded earlier. Make sure you open this in a read mode because we are not going to write anything, so we are using read mode here. Okay, very simple. Let's enclose this in double quotes. Looks good. Here you can see the model file is missing, so it will give you an error. So make sure the model file which you copied earlier, right, which you downloaded earlier, you cut that, you come back to Heroku model, Iris demo, paste it there, and it should be visible right here. So here you can see I have added the model.pkl file, and it is quite visible here. So make sure it is in the same folder, okay, as it is added there. Okay, once you are able to see that, it should not throw you an error or anything, and you should be all good. I see a question which is better, TensorFlow or PyTorch. I will say both are good in their own terms, and you can use any of these, but we are using scikit-learn. So scikit-learn is also very powerful. Okay, we are not using TensorFlow right now, but yeah, we can deploy a TensorFlow model on Heroku as well, but the limit is 500 MBs, and most of the models which we will be writing in TensorFlow will excrete that limit way above, even if there are 2-3 connections. So it is difficult to deploy models on Heroku on the free version with the TensorFlow or PyTorch there. But scikit-learn is very light model, so it will get deployed very easily. So yeah. Okay. So once that we have added, we have loaded the model, we need to add the Flask app, and we need to add different routes which we talked about earlier. So app equal to Flask app. So Flask, and then we add underscore name underscore. Cool. What is Pickle? So Pickle is a way where you can save the model file, right? And you can dump your model there, and it will be a lossless conversion, meaning that you won't the whole structure will be intact, and you will be able to use it as it is by just loading it, and it will be exactly the same thing. Pickle is, we don't use Pickle most of the times. We use it sometimes when the model is very light, but let's say if you're using TensorFlow, you'll be using safe model version, or if you're using TensorFlow Lite, you will be using TF Lite version. So there are different types of different ways how you can save a model and how you can reuse it. So that is like a different topic to discuss. But yeah, we're using Pickle because it is very easy, a very good library, helps us to save the model, retrieve it, and then use it as per our convenience. Cool. So we need to add multiple routes here. So app dot route, and the very first route we are going to add is the home page. Okay, so we are going to write the forward slash route, and then we are going to add method as get there. Okay, so let's go there, let's add the route, and the methods is going to be get. Okay, so the home page we are going to use the method as get, and we are going to forward that to our normal route, which is forward slash. So if anyone goes to the domain and the forward slash, they will be redirected to the function which we are writing just below that. Okay, make sure this get is in single quotes so that it recognizes that. You can also add multiple methods here, so you can add post method as well, and it will post method as well. But we don't want post method in our home page, so that's why we are not adding that, and we are adding only a get method. Now let's write a function which will run. So we'll write index, and we will define that function. Okay, now the whole code is in Python, so I hope you know how to define a function in Python, and I'm not going to go and talk about that. But yeah, here we are going to write the body. So body is going to be very simple. We are going to directly return because we don't want to do anything in the home page. Or you can write your name and say that um, made by Ali, and then you can be like,
Sir, I guess your screen is freezed. So guys, I guess sir would be shortly again there. There might be a technical glitch. So yeah, if you are having any questions, you can ask in comment section. Sir will shortly be available. Yeah, sir is right back.
yeah. So actually, my net went off. Everything went off. Everything went off. So yeah, I hope I'm back and the screen is visible. And yeah, we were at the return function. Looks good.
Yes, sir. There was a question that why we use get method here.
So why we use get method? Okay, so
Yeah.
there are multiple HTTP methods available. Okay, so there is the get method, there's a post method, there's a put method, there's a drop method, and whenever you're using a get method, it will retrieve the information from the server. Okay, so whenever you are sending a get method specifying, so by default, if you are, let's say, you go to a browser and you type google.com, you are actually sending a get method to google.com, and then it will retrieve the information back to you in the form of HTML. Okay, uh, by default any method is a get method. Okay, but on your browser only get method supported, other methods are not supported. So for post method you will need to write a server side code which can then send data to the server. So get is for retrieving information, post it for adding information or sending information to the server. Then there is put for updating information to the server. Then there is delete method for deleting information from the server. So these are different types of methods which are available, which you will need to write. So I'll add server up and running. Okay, so once you add this here, when someone goes to the home page, he will be able to see this as the outcome.
I guess again there is a network glitch. So yeah,
Mm, looks like my router is again connected and we are really back, right? Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
we are right.
Okay, looks good. So now we need to add another method, which is another route, which is going to be predict. So here we are going to say predict. So we are just going to copy that and we are going to put it here, and then the method is going to be post. The reason very simple, because we are going to send something to the server and we are waiting for server to kind of process that and give us a response, as a return. And here we will define a function which is going to be predict function. So definition predict and then enter. Now here we know that we are going to get a JSON in the post request. Okay, so remember that whenever you are sending a request, you're going to get the return. You're going to get uh, data in a JSON format. Okay, so whenever you're sending a post request, you actually send a body with the post request, and this is where we are going to add. We are going to accept that. So we will say that data equal to. We will store it in data right now, and then we will process it one by one. So it'll be like data equal to, and then we will use request dot. Okay, and here we are going to accept the parameters, so we'll be using get JSON. Okay, because we are accepting JSON here, and then we'll be like force equal to true, meaning that we want we only want JSON here and we don't want anything else apart from that. Now once we have this, we can use param1. So we can use anything here, we can use ABCD, but to make things really good, we will use param1 param. Oh, let me write one and then I will copy paste everything else. So param1 is going to be data, and from that data we are using the very first parameter as sample length. If you're confused about this, go to collab and you should be able to see that. Okay, so it is sample length, sample width, pattern length, and pattern width. So let's copy paste 4 times. Control C, Control V, Control V, and Control V. Change this param1 to param2, 3, 4. Okay, 2, 3, 4. Make sure this is very case sensitive. Okay, so you cannot just write it as it is. It is very, very case sensitive. Okay, so if you see our collab example, it is sample, and then the length L is big. Okay, so the small sample length is small, and then the first letter is big. So sample length, then there is sample width, then there is pattern length. Okay, and then there is pattern width. Okay, so 4 params, and make sure these all are case sensitive, else you will get an error. So here you can see I made a small mistake. You can just copy paste it from there, not a problem, if you are not able to write it properly. Okay, This is SVM. We are using SVM here, and it is stored in model.pkl file. Okay, so we are not defining model or anything here. We are just predicting it because we have defined the model earlier and then exported that as a pkl file. Okay, now that we have this ready, we need to make sure we are passing that input to the model. So I'll write this as inputs equal to, and then I need to make sure all this is in the form of array. So I will write np.array. I'll make an array using numpy, which we imported as np. Okay, and we need to add all these 4 params inside that. So let me add them very specifically. So I can be like param 1 comma param 2 comma param 3 comma param 4. Okay, so 4 params added there, and we have created an numpy array. Streamlit, I have seen that Streamlit, I would say, using simple sklearn models, but I have not done it myself, so I don't know how efficient that is. For deploying TensorFlow models, TensorFlow serving is the best option. Apart from that, any other option is not recommended. Even the Flask option is not recommended because there is a lot of problems with this option. Okay, we are just demonstrating it for demonstration purpose. Obviously, I'm not going to use this in production. Okay, so yeah, now we need to predict it. Okay, so we are going to use a variable y predict, and then we are going to directly use the predict method. So model dot predict method, and then we are going to pass inputs, and it will give us the prediction. Now that we have the prediction in y predict, we can actually print that into the log so that if something goes wrong, we know where we are. Okay, and we will also return that. So we will return that, and we will JSONify the return whatever we are returning, and then it will be like results equal to, okay, y underscore predict, and then we will close that. Yeah, make sure you're returning the integer value because by default it will return you something else, so make sure you are returning the integer value there. Now, one thing which I want to tell you is prediction is not available directly, it is available on the zeroth position. So make sure you add this very line properly. It is on the zeroth, so it is y underscore predict, and then add the zeroth position there so that you don't face any problem. Cool. So now we have returned this, and we have almost everything is ready. Now, technically, what you should be doing right now is you should be using app.run, and it would be all good, and it should give you an outcome. Now, assuming that you folks don't have Postman installed, we'll have to kind of install it and then run it and then see if the code is right or wrong and so on, right? So that is something which you'll have to do. If you will need Postman for that. Now, if you don't have the Postman, then that is totally fine. But while I'll write the direct code which we will going to deploy to Heroku and see if our code works or if our code doesn't work. Okay. So when we are writing code for Heroku, we cannot just write app.run because it will run on a port number which we are not aware of. So we will comment this line, or we will remove this line completely, and we will write another line which we need to write while we are deploying the Heroku application. So if underscore name equal to underscore main, okay, then what you need to do, oh, I forgot one thing, I need to encapsulate this into single quotes. Yeah, is equals to main. Then what we need to do is we need to run the app.run, but we need to define multiple parameters there, meaning the host is going to be 0.0.0.0, okay, Apart from host, I need to define the port number where it is going to run, and the port is going to be integer, and then I'm going to use os, the command to get the environment port number, environment dot get, and then what we need to get, we need to get the port number. So port and 8080. Cool. So we will add that port, we will set that port to 8080 so that it is visible and everything looks good. Now, once you write this, you are all good and you don't need anything else. Make sure the line is very proper and has the code written properly. So you can see that we wrote this code, very efficient, looks good. Make sure requirement file is proper, app.py file is proper, looks good. Now, see requirements files is good, WSGF file. Now WSGF file is nothing but this file enables us to actually run this app as a production app, okay? And it will use the VSGS server and then use multiprocessing so that it can handle multiple requests at the same time and so on and so forth, okay? So yeah, proc file is the file which is responsible, or you can say entry file, whenever you are writing a Heroku application. Make sure the P in proc file is capital, okay? And it doesn't have any extension, it is just proc file, okay? So it is already given, you don't need to worry about it, and you are all set. Make sure you have the model file, you have the app.py file which is completed, you have the proc file, requirement file, and WSGF file which is already coded. Now you need a free account of Heroku. So I'll need to stop sharing my screen so that you folks are able to, or I will share my complete screen because that would be much better. So your entire screen is what I need to share, and here I am. Okay. So once I share my entire screen, what I need to do now I need to go and create a free account on Heroku. So I can go here and I can be like heroku.com. Now this is the heroku.com dashboard. Hey, you folks are able to see my screen. Yeah, I'm hoping that you folks are able to see my screen. Okay. And you need to sign up. Now, if you are new, you are a beginner, it is a very simple step. It will ask you to sign up, and you can directly go there and you will see a console like this. Now, if you're a student, you can go to GitHub student developer pack, and you will get Heroku premium version, which is called as the Hobby Dino, okay? And you can get that for free. So here you can see one free Hobby Dino for up to 2 years. So that is awesome, right? And you will be able to get that for free. So that is one of the very good benefits of using GitHub Education Pack. If you're not aware about it, you can definitely kind of go and research about it and get it. Make sure you are a student, else it will not work. So
sir, by this, would we be able to deploy TensorFlow app over Heroku?
yes, if you are able to use the Hobby Dino, you will be able to deploy TensorFlow app on Heroku because it is more powerful than the normal free version. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so once you go there, you can go and enroll your benefit and then have it here. Now, even if you don't have the student pack, you can obviously sign up, and you can see I have multiple apps running. So you can also have multiple apps running, and then it allows you to run unlimited apps, but there is a time limit. So there is a free time limit. So I will show you. If I go to account settings and if I go to billing, here you can see this ran. So the free Dino hours is 917 around, and I have used around 82 hours in this month. Okay. Sorry. And here you can see current usage is $00, and I have around 105 credits. I have also added my debit card so that I could upgrade it and I could run my servers, any of the servers as well. So this is good one. So as you can see, I have like $105 of credit and so on. Now, please sign up. Signing up is very, very easy. I'll wait for a minute and you give me a thumbs up, then I will move forward. Okay. Please tell me in the chat so that I'm waiting for you folks, right? Unless you folks are with me, that would be good. Okay. So once you sign up, you can click on new and you can click on create a new app. Click on create a new app. It will ask you for a name. Name should be a unique name. So make sure your name is unique. So I'll add Iris I Ali, and it looks good. Iris I Ali. Keep it short. Don't add a long name. Just keep it short. Make sure you select the region as US and click on create app. It will create the app, and here you can see it will directly take you to the deploy section, and it says there are multiple ways to deployment. One is you can directly connect the GitHub account, or you can use the Heroku Git CLI and do that. Now you need to install that. Okay, so you need to download and install the Heroku CLI, which is command line 2. So open this in new tab and download this for your Windows platform. So here you can see there are multiple Mac OS. This is how it is for Windows. This is how it is for Ubuntu. This is how it is. We have Windows application right now, so I have already installed it, but you can go and install it, and it is very easy. Once you install that, you will be able to use the Heroku commands directly. So the very first command you need to run is Heroku login. Okay, so let me open Windows PowerShell. No, I guess I have already Windows terminal. Okay, so here you can see this is the command. Just copy this command after installing the CLI. It will take a minute or two, not more than that. And if you click on login, you can see that it tells you press any key to open up a browser. So if I press enter, it will take me to the browser and it will tell me to log in. I'll click login, and you can see you are logged in, so you can close it. And here you can see it says logged in as ILE Mustafa. Okay, so it is that simple. Like, you just go to CLI, you click on login, it will log you in, and then it will be visible here. Cool. Now that you are logged in and your code is ready, make sure you are in the same folder. So this is the folder where we wrote the code, right? Make sure you are in the same folder. Okay. uh, in Windows, you can right click and click on open in Windows terminal, which also supports Git. So that is really awesome. Okay, so click on open in Windows terminal and it will open it right like this. Okay, in the same terminal. Now that you are here, you need to make sure it is a GitHub repository, not GitHub repository, a Git control. The reason for that is uh, Heroku uses Git to deploy your application, and that's why you need to make sure it is Git supported. So you need to type Git init, and it will initialize with a .git folder here, and you can see it right now, which is there. Now we need to commit it as well, so we'll add git commit. So we'll add git add dot, which will add all the file. I hope you know basics of GitHub. So git commit -m v1 version 1. Now this is the only commitment I have given ever in my life, every single time. So yeah, git commit -v1. Now that we have added the commit, here you can see Heroku git remote -a Iris I Ali. I'll copy that, I'll paste it here and put it across. And it has set the remote of Heroku to this remote version. And this looks good. Now that I have already committed, I need to just push this to master. So git push Heroku master, that is the command, added it there, and it will push directly here. And if you want to see what is happening, you can click on more and click on logs, and you can see the app being deployed right now. And here you can see it is also getting deployed right there, installing all the elements which is specified in requirements.txt file, going there, and it is visible there. Once it is installed, you will be able to see it here, and then we can go and we will be able to see that. It will take a minute or two to do that, not more than that. So here you can see it gave us a URL. Click on that URL and it will open a new tab. If everything is right, let's cross our hands and hope that everything is right. It should give us status up and running. Yes, server up and running. Looks everything is good. So you can come back here, and this is the first time my code ran without any problem. Amazing. So yeah, this is another thing to flex about. So here you can see in the logs, we are able to see that everything is looking good. Now remember that the Heroku doesn't run every now and then. Okay, so whenever it receives a request, it turns from status from down to up, and if no request is received, it turns back the status from up to down. Okay, it is a platform as a service. It is a PaaS. Okay, so yeah, once it is deployed here, we need to go to what method, what is the route we are going to use. We are going to use / predict, but here it says method not allowed. Obviously we have not added a get method there, right? So what we need to do, we need to add a post method and check if it is working or not, and in that case we will need what, we will need Postman. And because this is a hosted URL, it will work with Postman. So let's go to Postman again. Where is Postman? Okay, we'll have to go to postman.com, and then launch Postman, and then test if our API is working or not. So go here, click on my workspace, add a new request, paste it there, select the post method, go to body, raw, JSON, and where I'm going to get this JSON from, here you can see this is the same JSON which we are using. So copy this, come back here, paste it here, and hit a send button. 500 internal server error. Okay. It gave us an error. I thought it was like flawless code, and it says that reshape your data either using reshape function because the data has a single feature, array.reshape -1 if it contains a single sample. No, it does not contain a single sample. Okay, let me check the code. What is wrong there? I don't think anything is wrong here. Yes, sorry. We need to enclose it in double bracket, and apart from that, I'm assuming everything would be good. Control S. We will have to go and again get add dot get commit -m v2 because it is version 2, and then get push Heroku master. What I did was I just added extra bracket there. Okay, nothing else, and it should work. That is the only error which we are getting. Super protect X, and yeah, I should be able to see that. Deployed. Hit a send button. Come on, give me an output, buddy. So status changed to up, as you can see, and you can see here we see an outcome which is a result equal to 2. So yeah, one mistake, and we were not able to see that error. Only one change. It was just bracket open close. Okay, and yeah, we are able to see the results. Now let's change this to 1 maybe and see what else we can see in the result. And here you can see result equal to 0. That is awesome, right? Isn't it? We just created an app. We deployed it to Heroku. and it looks good. Now, one thing which is annoying here is every time you have to, you are every time you have to push it to Heroku again and again. Why not I just commit it to GitHub and it fetches that automatically? Why can't I do that? And that I can do that. Okay. So a very simple way of doing that is actually going there. So one reason why I told you to kind of make a clone copy, so that you can push it there and you can connect it directly to GitHub, and whenever you are pushing it to master, it will automatically fetch it and put it across. So ml deploy, and if you search for this, you can see this repository. If I connect this, it will connect the master. Every time I put every time I make a change, it will enable automatic deployment. Anytime I push it to the master, I don't have to deploy it again and again to Heroku, and that is also awesome, right?
So, sir, is it recommended to before deploying from GitHub, we should deploy from our local host just for practicing purpose, or shouldn't we directly deploy it over from GitHub?
I suggest first. So actually, we didn't do the local host testing earlier. The recommended practice is that you first do a local host testing and then you deploy it to GitHub and then directly link it without even going to Heroku and deploying it there. Okay. So the best practice I would say is to first test if it is working on local. If it is working on local, push it to GitHub, connect your GitHub, and it will automatically fetch it from there. You don't need to go to Heroku and every time deploy it there. You can actually do manual deployments, like here you can see you can actually manually deploy it, but then that doesn't make sense because instead of GUI I can write one command line, which is get Heroku push master. So that would actually be as same as doing a manual deployment, right? So yeah, remember in free account you don't get matrix, so you have to add it and you have to upgrade that. But you will be able to see only logs, which is available here in application logs. And yeah, apart from that, you don't see anything. You only see the usage, how much usage it is. So like literally all of you can use this, okay? Because it is an open app, and you will be able to see that, and you will be able to kind of look at it, what is happening there. So yeah. Cool. If you are having any question right now, just send it in the chat, and give me a minute. I'll just turn on my router properly so that I don't face any more problems with the electricity. Just give me a moment.
Yeah, if you are having any questions, you can ask in chat.
Okay, looks good. I guess I am back. Let me share it. Yeah, looks like everything is good. I should not do anything wrong right now. Okay. So yeah, that was about this complete thing about Heroku sample. Now remember, Heroku is free and it is really awesome. Another free service is Google App Engine, which is also with the same potential, and you can also deploy apps which would be free, and they have a tier which is also free. Azure also provides some free services, so it is all are kind of similar, but they have their own configuration files. For example, Heroku have proc file. Then when we talk about GCP, it has YML file, and when we talk about Azure, it has a different configuration file. So everyone have their own configuration file, but it is just that you need to add the configurations properly, and then you're all good. So yeah, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the session. If you want to connect with me, I'm more than happy to connect with you and understand more. If you have any questions, please ask me right now.
So
And
yeah, sir,
yeah,
there is a question. Does this down to up or up to down patches of Roku takes time?
I don't understand the question. I guess, is it from Mohit Rai, which is does this down to up and up to down patches
No,
would takes
it's
time?
actually from
No.
Harun Core.
Yeah. So whenever you don't send a request to your server, it will take time for the very first request to come. So it is, let's say the server is down and someone sends a request, it will boot it up and it will take time. Okay. So it will take time, like not like hours or something, but yeah, a second or two. and it will automatically boot it up. And then once it is up, it will be you can send multiple requests to it unless it is hitting the quota. And once it hits the quota, it will be unavailable. It will say that, hey, I'm unavailable. But yeah, it is very quick, so you don't need to worry about that up to down and down to up, because it is very very you I would say very very easy, and it is automatic. You don't have to manually do that. So yeah, don't worry about it.
So yeah, next question is from Mohit Rai. Is there any site for practicing machine learning?
Collab, the best site I would say. Like I have written so many models on Collab because it provides GPU, it provides CPU, and then you can actually deploy that model directly from Collab to Heroku. So you can install the Heroku CLI on Collab directly because it is an Ubuntu machine, and you can directly deploy it from there to Heroku or GCP because it is highly integrated. So Collab provides me a really good platform to live. So I have not even installed TensorFlow in my machine because I use Collab and cloud services more than actually doing that on my own machine. Because then install this, install that, all that hectic things, and at the end of the day, you're not able to even kind of get ahead of that installation pattern and do something else apart from that. So yeah, I would say Collab is the best way. Kaggle is another one, but Kaggle is more I would say not that friendly as friendly Collab is. But yeah, now they have updated the UI and it is also good. So you can try out Kaggle and Collab, and you can use the data sets, wrangle them out, and then see what fits for you. Practicing is the key here. And remember, if you are making a machine learning model and that is on your machine, it is useless. Because no one knows it, right? And no one will be able to even have a taste of it. Even if you deploy it on Heroku and make people test it, that is really awesome, because people know that, okay, this is working and this is something which this guy has made, and we can actually test it out and not just see that he made a machine learning model. So yeah.
So any questions there? Yeah, I hope everything is crystal clear. So it was a really amazing session, sir. We
Thank you so
enjoyed that
much.
a lot. Yeah, it was a great experience to learn from you, and that too, and end-to-end deployment of an app. It was a really good and everlasting experience. Thanks for giving your time to come to our community channel and teach the community. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, bye bye and have a good day.